this is Kim with another video about pornography and an interesting point. Pornography and romance, and how do those two connect to each other, and what do they have to do with each other? So romance is the word that is so easily spread out through media, through television, Hollywood movies, and Valentine's Day, and couples use it a lot. Romance, let's do something romantic, and it's a word mostly used by women. Romance. What is romance? It's the apparent love and loveliness between a couple, between a man and a woman. Romance is like the ideal image of the relationship that is actually used by the woman. The woman tries to introduce romance into the relationship, and romance is something that a woman tries to force upon the man. And it's actually an interesting point of romance and pornography, because romance is the woman's mind, imagination, the woman's fantasy. Okay, romance, wherein she believes that her husband loves her or her boyfriend loves her. Romance is the point where the woman wants the man to show her that he loves her by giving her flowers and doing something special. It all has to do with this doing something special for her and for the anniversary, and keeping in mind when is her birthday and when is the anniversary of the marriage, and spending quality time and doing all those lovey-dovey things that is just so nice and so just so nice, and love. It's really fluffy and lovely and soft, completely soft, and so that's what the woman wants to believe. And if you look at a lot of relationships, if not all relationships, you always have the woman who is frustrated about the man because he's not romantic enough, and he has to show her that he loves her. That's the deal. That's what he has to do so that he can keep her in the relationship. So he has to do all these things that he doesn't even really understand, like, why do I have to do this? But that's what's required, and that's what the woman wants him to do. And she uses all sorts of blackmail, manipulation, to get him to do that, like threatening to leave him, or in some way letting him know that the relationship is in jeopardy if he doesn't show some romance. And then she can go and cry, use crying as manipulation to get him to do romantic things and pay attention to her, so she can feel special and she can feel loved. And what's actually interesting is that when you look at pornography, which is mostly being watched by males, because pornography in itself plays into what men want to see, and it's mostly focused on men, on what men want to see. It's like a male focused industry. And it's like romance for women. It's interesting when you see romantic movies are like the pornography for women, and then you have pornography, which is for men. And pornography is like the exact opposite of romance. Within pornography, you have women being treated like slaves and being absolutely abused and used and fucked, completely treated like these worthless beings who are just there to basically look up at the man and his huge dick and his penis, and how incredibly powerful he is and his muscles. And the woman in pornography seems to always just be there to look up at the man and to admire him and his strength, and that's what gets men aroused who look at pornography. They like that because it is like stroking their ego. Like, yes, yes, I'm powerful, because men want to feel powerful and women want to feel loved. So women enjoy romance as the illusion that the man loves her, and men enjoy pornography as the illusion that the woman looks up at him, and the illusion that he is powerful and superior. So there you have the reality today of men and women, where neither of them actually, where both sides are living in a fantasy reality. I mean, complete fantasy, completely locked into their own personal mind, wherein the woman actually believes, oh, my husband loves me, and romance exists, and love exists, and when not really, just, so intoxicated and brainwashed by all the romantic movies that she's watched, and that she has forced her husband to watch it with her because it's so romantic to cuddle while we're watching a romantic movie together. And but she's not actually realizing or seeing the actual reality of pornography as that which her husband is actually watching in secret or not, or with his friends, or the stuff that he's talking about with his friends, and the stuff that most men watch, pornography. Women don't seem to want to see the reality of pornography, wherein men actually don't enjoy watching a romantic movie. They rather enjoy watching a movie wherein a woman, wherein the relationship between a woman and a man isn't lovely and cute and cuddly and nice and warm and wonderful, but the relationship between a man and a woman is completely based on the man getting his admiration, and the man being the complete ego, the absolute, the ego and the superior being, and the strong, powerful, mighty godlike creature that has this attention from women. And women are like props. Women are like, in his mind, for him as the ego, women are props, and women are only there to pay him this attention. And this is the secret fantasy of probably every man. I mean, if you're a man, this is probably your secret fantasy, to have lots of women look up at you and going like, oh my god, what you see in pornographic movies, where the woman is like completely taken over by this absolute powerful male, the power of the male, because that's like the center point within pornography, just how weak the woman is, and then she looks up at the strength of the male. And this point of, the weakness of the woman and the strength of the male is also used in romance, but it is being romanticized. It's being fluffed up and made lovely and nice and pretty to look at. But you know what? Pornography is actually the harsh reality of romance. Pornography is basically what is the real undertone of romance, romantic movies, Valentine, love, all those fluffy-dovey nice things that women love to believe in. Because women don't seem to want to realize what's actually here in this reality and what's going on, and the actual image that's being presented of a woman, and how women are really treated and looked at. And you can also see it in romance, but it's being fluffed up and it's being made nice, and you don't actually are faced with the real undertone that is romance, which is pornography. And in pornography you see the harsh reality of how women and men are actually seen, and the role that women and men play within the relationship. That's pornography, wherein the woman is being seen as the slave and the man is being seen as the superior, all-powerful ego god. And women are being completely kept sweet and kept Women are being pacified with romantic movies as the illusion of love and romance. Because pornography is like the secret hidden reality within everyone's mind. Even women and men, pornography is like those basic thoughts within everybody, the unconscious mind that is full of those images that lie under romance and love and all those nice pretty words that we love to use so much to make relationships seem like something valuable and seem like something special and important, so we can feel special about ourselves. But it's really not at all nice. Reality is not nice, but we don't actually want to see it. So that's why we hide pornography to such an extent. We don't want to face pornography. We don't want to get it out in the open because we don't want to see reality. We don't want to see what our actual conscious mind is, who we believe ourselves to be, and what we believe reality to be is actually based on, which is pornography, which is like this really disgusting selfish ego male dominated point, which is actually what is what the human being is. Complete ego, selfish, and yeah. So I mean, neither romance nor pornography is who we are, obviously. It's all just illusions, and it's all just ego based, wherein we just always aim for personal satisfaction, personal glory, wherein the woman searches for personal satisfaction in romance because she just wants to feel loved, and she just wants to feel that lovey-dovey experience, which is not real, obviously. And in pornography, the male searches for personal pleasure and satisfaction within actually creating this illusion and belief within himself that he is God, that he is the almighty powerful being of God that gets all this attention from women and is looked up at. So both is just complete illusions, and what is unacceptable about this is that it's just a lie. It's a complete lie. If we face reality, and if we look at how reality actually operates, like in this way, and if we actually face ourselves and who we are within ourselves, then we see that everything we've always believed ourselves to be is lies, and we've created this ego reality wherein we're constantly just completely obsessed with this drive for personal satisfaction and pleasure, and we just want to feel personally satisfied and good. Yet we miss the truth. We miss the point of truth, where we don't actually see what's going on. We only see what we want to see, like romance or superiority, which isn't real. It's a fairy tale. And there isn't anything wrong with that per se. It's just that our personal, drive for satisfaction and pleasure as the ego has brought a lot of abuse with it, because we're just not willing to look at reality. We're not willing to look at the consequences of our illusionary creations that we have made to personally feel good. We've created a lot of sexual abuse and a lot of just complete ignorance and blindness and just like starvation, and because even starvation is actually direct consequences of these illusionary worlds that we live in, because we're all too busy living in our personal ego virtual realities wherein we see everything the way we want to see it, and then we don't see the actual reality, which is complete abuse, which is poverty and starvation and the most gruesome disgusting things that are being done to human beings. We don't see that the fact that we choose to live in these virtual realities within our minds is actually causing and creating things like sexual abuse. Because what is sexual abuse? Sexual abuse is obviously comes from a point wherein a person within themselves creates this idea and this desire of, I want this, I want to have sex with a child, based on all sorts of imaginations and fantasies. A person is completely consumed by their personal thoughts, and we all do that. Women in their romantic shit, and then men in their pornographic shit, and we all build up this idea about who we are and what is real and reality, and which is all inside our heads as fantasy and imagination, and we all participate within it. So obviously you're gonna have beings who are gonna start imagining like things like child abuse, having sex with children, and all sorts of forms and variations of having sex, and you're creating this image of who you are, and then you go and do things in reality based on this self-image that you have, that you've created through imagination. And we all do it. We all do this, and we're completely unaware of it. So we are creating in that way sexual deviancy and disorders and sexual abuse. And not just sexual abuse, but all forms of abuse that is currently here in this reality, which is all based on us not willing to look at reality, but only seeing what we want to see based on our self-image that we've created through imagination within our mind as fantasies and illusions of grandeur. And obviously this just has to stop, because, come on, we have become such incredibly low, inferior life forms. We're not even life forms, we're like systems. We're all consuming, all abusing, destroying, destructive systems of death. Everywhere we go, we bring abuse and pain and death. So we are not of life anymore, because we've been completely sucked into this imaginary world, virtual reality, wherein every person has this whole virtual reality built up as fantasies and imaginations, as images in their own head, which has nothing to do anymore with the actual reality, with what is here. So we gotta sort out this reality, we gotta sort out this world and face our mess, because we've created a mess, and each one individually is responsible for that. Because have a look at yourself, each one of us has created this self-image, has been participating in imagination and fantasies, all based on personal satisfaction, wherein you place yourself on an island, but the reality is that you're not on an island. We actually are all here in this reality. We're all here in one world. We have one world that we all have to share. So basically that whole point of individualism as fantasy and personal desire for personal satisfaction and personal pleasure, wherein you can absolutely don't consider anyone besides yourself, that's not acceptable, because we have one world. Come on, I mean, it's not difficult to realize the consequences of this, yet we never have looked at the consequences of this individualism as what we've always deemed so natural. Yeah, that's us, we're unique, and we're so different, and we're individuals, we're personalities and identities, because each one of us has their own personal imagination and is living in their own personal world as their personality and identity, as the image that they've built up about themselves based on these images as fantasies, as personal glorification, which has nothing to do with the real world anymore. And obviously in that way everybody's only thinking about themselves, and then you get stuff like people abusing each other, and complete continents of people being left out to starve completely, complete continents being sucked dry by other countries, because we're always, all of us, just thinking about personal satisfaction. And I mean, if you look at porn, that's just abuse, the male abusing the woman. That's what goes on in pornography. So this is who we are. This pornography shows us what exists within ourselves and what we have allowed to exist within reality, which is complete abuse. And those who claim that, oh, you can't take away pornography because, it makes us feel good. So that's people who try and defend their good feeling because it's individuality, it's our individuality, and we believe that this is who we are. A good feeling, but if you look at the source of that good feeling, it's complete abuse. It's undeniable. So there is no defense, there is no excuses. So pornography as abuse just has to stop. There is no other way. We have to face our abusive nature. We're not the egos of the mind. We're not the ego. We're not those personal good feelings. We're not good at all. If you look at reality, then it's clear to see that we're not good at all, or anything but abusive. Okay, so visit Desteni at www.desteni.co.za to get more information and insights and realizations about reality, and to get to know the tools that you can use for yourself to get to know who you are and face reality and face yourself, and come to these points of insight and realizations about yourself and about reality that you never had seen, that you never saw coming. Because these things, we don't consider it, we don't actually realize it, but that's the actual truth about ourselves, that we're not at all superior beings. We're in fact quite inferior, but we just feel so good and we trust our personal feelings that we don't see reality. So yeah, thanks.